Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Joffrey Noodle Legs here today. Got a different one for you today, another sort of top 10 sort of thing. Again, it's non-horror, so I hear you all gasp. Sorry, just having have a brew out of my cup. Right, let's get cracking then. This is my top 10 favourite sitcoms. Alright, now I'll let you know now, these are all British sitcoms. I mean, there is some American ones I do like. I love The Big Bang Theory, and some shows like that. Some really good shows from America. The 1970s, 80s Taxi was a good show. Modern Family, all good shows. But they're not in this. This is basically ones that I've watched from childhood right through to now, that I still watch today. You know, rather than watching the rubbish they put on TV now, I'm quite happy to bung on a DVD of my favourite series. Anyway, to start off, before I get to my top 10, I've got some honourable mentions. But before that, I've got two honourable mentions, simply because these were not sitcoms, but they were British TV comedies that were a massive influence on my taste. One of them is one of my favourite comedy duos, and that is Morecambe and Wise. Now, this is the Morecambe and Wise box set. Sorry, upside down, and it pretty much contains every episode they did with the BBC, and all the Christmas specials. This is such a good set. Morecambe and Wise, absolutely amazing and really genius and talented. And when they went off the air, I just thought they're never ever sort of going to be matched, but they kind of were by the two Ronnies. Again, another popular series of mine. Sorry about that, I just had Sullivan growling. Ronnie Barker, Ronnie Corbett, both went on to do their own things after the show. There is a Ronnie Barker series in my top 10. We'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, they're my two honourable mentions, as they weren't sitcoms. So I'm going to get to a few honourable mentions before I go to my top 10. One of my favourite comedies was of my sort of teen years. I sort of brought up on it, and it was The Young Ones. Obviously Rick Mayall, Christopher Plummer, Ade Edmondson, and obviously Nigel Planner made the Young Ones. Absolutely love The Young Ones. Hysterically funny for the time. Quite dated now though when you watch it. It's not as funny as it was back then, but back then it was absolutely hilarious, and it was a real massive part of my youth. Rick Mayall was one of my sort of icon heroes of that time. And a comedy show I liked before then, in the 70s and sort of early 80s, that were quite big, was The Goodies. I absolutely love The Goodies. Really cool. I actually met Bill Oddie. He actually signed this one. I don't know if you guys could pick up on that, but it's actually signed by Bill Oddie there. Would you believe it or not, at Shepworth Wildlife Park, where Phil, Incredible Inverts and Our Animals works. I did a sort of charity thing there for a hedgehog sanctuary, and he come and accepted a check off me and the company. And yeah, so yeah, The Goodies, again, completely wacky show. It was like a prequel to almost like The Young Ones, really. You see Sullivan there, there he is. Hello mate, hello mate. He wants to come and say hello. Come on in, Sullivan. Here he is, here he is. Can't have a video about Sullivan, can we? There he is. So there we are. So that's your little, that's all you will come for, I know. Two more honourable mentions. This one's a bit more modern. I think it was like in the 90s. And this is Black Books. Really love this show with Bill Bailey. An absolutely fantastic show. Again, a really good comedy. A little bit, it's just about a bookshop, about a really badly run bookshop, to be honest. But it's really cool, and it's really funny. Absolutely love that show. It's quite wacky as well. I mean, you see quite a few of my comedies are wacky, but you'd be surprised in my top 10 there's some quite camp sort of comedies that I like. Just do. One more honourable mention, Dear John. Absolutely fantastic show. Absolutely loved this show. Really was funny. Obviously about the guy that got separated and divorced from his wife, and joined like a one-to-one sort of single separated club, and saw the funny characters in there. Really loved this show, really funny, definitely worth watching. Written by John Sullivan, really cool. That's my honourable mention. So now we're going to get to my top 10, and we'll start off with probably one of the most campest shows, but I absolutely love it, from the 70s, and I think it ran through some of the 80s as well, and that is Are You Being Served? Absolutely love this show. It's just got so much character. I just absolutely adore it. um I just think all the characters in it are so funny, and they're all played so well, and there's some great cast members in there that I absolutely adore. Great show. Yeah, great show. Sorry about that. My phone just died on me for some reason. Seems to do that a lot lately. It's probably EE telling me I need an upgrade. But anyway, number 10 is Are You Being Served? Absolutely love it. Number 9, another classic with John Cleese, 40 Towers. Again, a lot. This series wasn't such a long running series. It's about 2 or 3 seasons, I believe. I think it was only 2. But all their episodes are absolutely classic. It's like only about every 12 episodes made of it, and it's just such a fantastic series. Absolutely love 40 Towers. Again, it's about a British sort of hotel run by Basil Fawlty and Sybil Fawlty, and there's Manuel and there's Polly. They're the staff, and it's all the capers that they get on with. John Cleese is hilarious in that show. That's my number 9. Number 8, it's in this box set. So I don't have it as a box on its own. So I need to take it out. It is a Ronnie Barker one. Okay. Yes, and you all probably think, yes, it's going to be Porridge. But it's not. It's Open All Hours. Absolutely love Open All Hours. It's just a really sort of calm, homely, innocent comedy, and I just absolutely love it. I just love Open All Hours. I can sit and watch it over and over and over. It's got obviously Ronnie Barker in it, and it has David Jason in it too. Now, this box set I have here, it's a really good box set. Ronnie Barker. It contains a lot of his popular shows. It does have Open All Hours in this. It has Porridge. It has the sequel series to Porridge, Going Straight, and other little series he's done, like Clarence and things like that. It's a good little box set, this, if you can pick it up. But it has all the Open All Hours. Now, over the recent years, they've renewed that and brought it out still Open All Hours with David Jason, and I love that too. I absolutely love that show. It's got a really good cast, Johnny Vegas and people like that in it. Really good cast. I love that show. But I couldn't put it in here because it's the top 10, and so I can only put 10. There are 2 others I didn't put in here, which I'll mention at the end. Okay, so that was number 8, wasn't it? I believe, yeah. Number 7, it's a Ricky Gervais show, and that's called Derek. Again, this only ran for about two. I'm sure he only did two seasons and like a couple of sort of specials to sort of like round the story off. But Derek, fantastic. I can relate to it and stuff, you know, a lot of people will. It's about, I mean, Ricky Gervais plays Derek, obviously, who's got autism and works in an elderly home. And a lot of people were sceptical before this came out, thinking, oh, it's taking the mick out of people with autism, but it's not. It actually shines them in an absolute positive and heartwarming light. And it's a real sort of like tribute to people that suffer with autism. So that's a really good show. That's Derek. Number 6, again, only ever 2 seasons made of this, but I love it. So let me get it ready. And that is Peter Kay's Phoenix Nights. Again, it's of its time. I think it's made in the 90s, but to me it had more of a sort of 70s feel to it, just the way the people were in it. But yeah, it's based around like a social club, I think, in Bolton. And it's based around like a social club, and all the characters in there. And you've got Peter Kay plays multiple characters in the show. It's such a funny show. It really is. If you've never seen Phoenix Nights, watch it. It's fantastic. There was a kind of offspring from it, Max and Paddy, because they were the doorman of the actual nightclub, Phoenix Nights. Yeah, so it's great. It's got Dave Spikey in it. It's a really funny show. So now we're going to get to my top 5. Number 5 is one of my favourite comedies from the 1970s, early 70s and 60s, and that is On the Buses. Yeah, it may seem dated now, but the humour again is really, really cool and funny. I just really like it. I just find it so funny. I just love Blakey. I love the whole setup of it, and it's just one of those series again, like Open All Hours. I can watch over and over and over again. Some of it's quite cringe-worthy, especially sometimes some of the way that sort of women are sort of spoken about in it. You know, sort of like objects like birds, if you like. You know, but it's of its time, so I'm not offended by it. You know, back then that it was not offensive. Now you couldn't get away with it, but On the Buses, I absolutely love that show. Brilliant. Number 5. Number 4 is the longest running sitcom of all time. Has over 350 episodes. Oh, absolutely love it. Last of the Summer Wine. Now this has got all of them in there. This has got every single season. This has got it's 32 seasons. They made 32 seasons. And Peter Sallis, who played Cleggy, was in every single episode that was made. There's over 350 episodes. Obviously, you've got Foggy and Compo. Obviously, the lineup changed over the years. Some left, some passed away, but that's the classic trio, isn't it? Cleggy, Foggy, and Compo. It's that perfect, harmless humour that Roy Clark is absolutely fantastic at writing. He wrote Open All Hours. He wrote another show called In Love and Memory, I believe. I'm not sure if that was him, but he writes all these. Always seems to be based in Yorkshire. This was filmed 10-15 minutes away from where I live, so it's not far from where I live. So I've got that sort of connection with it. The cafe that's in there is still there, and I go in there sometimes. Yeah, I love that show. If I can find any pictures of me at the cafe, I'll stick them on the end. But absolutely love it. Last of the Summer Wine. Please don't just think it's a silly comedy, but it's not. It's really clever and it's brilliant. It's really funny and the characters are good. If you just want to sit down, relax with, you know, and have some comical capers, Last Summer Wine, you can't go wrong. So I'm going to my top 3 now. Number 3, this is a 90s comedy. Absolutely fantastic. That's Father Ted. I love this show. Again, I just love the characters in it. Father Ted, Dougal, and, you know, Mrs. Doyle, everyone. Jack, Father Jack. I love all the characters in the show. There's just something really charming about the show. It got quite edgy at times, and it sort of took the mick out of itself and the church and things like that, but did it in a sort of tasteful way, you know, well, quite tasteful. But that's my number 3. Number 2 is probably going to be a lot of people's favourite. It's been around since the sort of 80s and 90s and that. And it again stars David Jason. And it's Open All Hours. Of course, a lot of people, this is like an institution here, isn't it? And this is the box set with every single episode in there. This is like an institution. I love Uncle Albert. My son says that he reminds me of me, so he calls me Uncle Albert. Fantastic show. What can you say about Only Fools and Horses? It's classic. I mean, they probably made 1 or 2 episodes that weren't particularly brilliant, but all the rest were fantastic. Brilliant. So they only leaves 1 place at number 1. And this is another 90s comedy. Absolutely love it. Starring Ricky Tomlinson. And it's the Royal Family. This is my favourite comedy show of all time. You just can't beat it. It's like being at home, sitting with your family, or sitting with Mark the Spider Guy. It's just like sitting at home with your family and, you know, disagreeing on everything. But, you know, you can feel the love there, but they just take the piss out of each other and, you know, they're lazy and then one person does everything, you know, and the rest do just sit around and moan about it. It's just brilliant. It's just genius comedy, and the writing is fantastic. You know, it was a sad day when we lost her, when she died, but but what amazing series. I wish they'd done more, really do. It was fantastic, but all the specials they did were fantastic as well. Absolutely love it. This is a good box set. It's got them all, every single special, every series. So that's it. That's my top 10. What do you think of those? Are any of those in your favourites? Now, I did leave a couple out, guys, just because I run out of sort of, like, I don't want to overdo it with too many sort of specials and too many honourable mentions. But yeah, I should drop them in. Obviously, Dad's Army. We can't forget that. It's a classic. And of course, Steptoe and Son. But they weren't in there because they're in a lot of people's top 10s. And I don't watch them as much as I watch the other because they are quite old and they haven't held their humour as a lot of the others do. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this top 10, maybe a little trip down memory lane for some of you. And some series you might think, oh, I might check that out. I might watch the last of the Summer Wine, you know, because I didn't watch it when I was a kid because I just thought it was boring on a Sunday afternoon. But no, it's really not. It's really clever and it's charming. Anyway, guys, until next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.